Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my name is Kenneth Brown, and I am here with one of my best friends that I've known for over 10 years now, which is crazy. Mr. Shane Martin, how are you?
Doing all right, man. We're getting old.
We are getting old, but this year we decided to say F it and start talking about wrestling because we've been talking about wrestling since God knows how long. And we just said, screw it. We're going to just do this little podcast. I'm going to upload it to the KWC YouTube channel. We're going to go. We're just going to have some fun. So you ready to get started?
Do this. I'm nervous, man. Let's do this.
Don't be nervous. We're just going to talk about recent events. And, you know, I don't necessarily want to talk too much about the Rumble today because it's at the end of the month. So we can possibly do another one of these and then cast our predictions and stuff for that. But I would like to talk about what recently just happened on Monday Night Raw. And I'm not talking about this last week. Actually, you know what? Let's rewind time because you and I kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want to know your perspective on the return of R-Truth.
I think it's pretty incredible.
Of R-Truth, exactly. R-Truth, I don't care what anyone says. R-Truth is honestly one of my favorite wrestlers of all time right now. He's even though like Judgment Day is a quote unquote serious staple, right? He's bringing an element of comedic action that I think that it's needed for a while, and it's hilarious to see Damian Priest break character every single time.
R-Truth is like I don't know how to explain it. He's a national treasure, man. Like I didn't realize how much I missed seeing him on my TV screen until he wasn't there.
Yeah.
And now that he's back, I'm just like, ugh. You see him and you just smile, whether it's interacting with JD McDonough or Jelly Roll backstage. Like I missed him, and I'm so glad he's back, and I'm so glad he's healthy.
Absolutely. And the thing is, y'all, people forget this man is like 50.
It's insane.
Which is absolutely insane. And yeah, he like me personally, I remember when this guy was K Quick teaming up with Road Dogg.
Yep.
And the only thing that's changed about him is his size. The man doesn't look like he's aged. He went from K Quick to Ron Killings to R-Truth. And, you know, R-Truth just discovery as a wrestler has been just so like I just love the fact that he's able to reinvent himself, but at the same time it's the same character. He's not I'll take Kane for example. He's not putting on a mask and taking off a mask. It's like, oh, one, you have, you know, let's take his recent events. You had him being heel with The Miz taking on John Cena and whatnot. Then you had the whole
Can you believe that was a decade ago?
Yeah, right, a decade ago, which is crazy. And then you have Little Jimmy. Yup. Yeah, Little Jimmy. And then you have just this. You have the dance break with Carmella, who should be returning any day. I know I just said I wasn't going to talk about Rumble, but I expect to see Carmella in the Rumble. I will say that.
I hope so. Is she healthy enough after having the baby?
I think she's had it. I don't know exactly when she's had the baby, but I think that she's been gone long enough to the point where I think that she would be able to have at least a comeback.
Yeah, like a one-off appearance for a while.
Yeah, and granted, I'm not saying she's back to week, but I feel like she got pregnant. She went away, and me personally, I think it's been way long. Obviously, she's had the baby already, but since she's had the baby, I think it's been well. Actually, you know what? Let me look it up. Let me see. When did Carmella have her baby from WWE? So she had her baby. Okay, maybe not, because the baby was just born on November 8th. So,
so most, I don't know, because it's like in ring shape, you know.
Yeah, and that's what I was
Maybe
saying.
not.
Maybe she could be in Rumble and just do a quick little thing, and then we'll see her later. But we'll see. But me personally, I miss Staten Island. I miss her. I miss seeing one because she's beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like
for sure.
Corey Graves got a
He got lucky.
that man is a lucky man. But no, yeah, congratulations to her, baby. But yeah, I definitely miss Carmella with the dance breaks and stuff. But no, R-Truth is obviously great, but I definitely want to know your opinions on the return of Mr. Ice Cream Bar's CM Punk.
You know, I popped so hard at the end of Survivor Series when he came back. And I think I told you, like, we were both watching at the same time. I lost my mind. And I know his AEW tenure is surrounded with controversy from day one, basically until day's end. But you know, I'm waiting to see what happens. He is a professional, hopefully. Question mark. Um, in the WWE, and I don't think the WWE will tolerate his backstage shenanigans. So if he wants to make a career and actually make some money again, I think he's got to tuck his tail between his legs and do what he needs to do. And that's kind of what I'm hoping happens. And until it's not, then we'll see. But I'm excited. I'm
Absolutely.
very excited to see what he's doing.
I'm excited too, and that's kind of a good segue. You know, guys, this podcast, like, it's gonna go a little bit of everywhere, but we're gonna just talk about prior recent events that are up in the world right now. And you, as you were talking about CM Punk, and just to piggyback on that, I agree. I wasn't shocked initially going in there. I didn't think that it would happen, but I was not surprised that it did. Am I am I happy that CM Punk is back? In a sense, yes. But at the same time, it's just like, man, you were just over there in AEW saying all of these things, and now it's kind of like the pot calling the kettle black, because now you're back in WWE. How do you really feel? Now, granted, I know that he went on live television and apologized, right? I don't know how sincere that may have been, but I will take that as face value. Obviously, like, me, Kenneth Brown, I don't have any professional wrestling training, but I have myself been in plenty of wrestling rings doing bumps and things that, quite frankly, probably should not have done, but they were fun, right? Side note, you know, the event that I went to out in Hollywood, they're doing another event in April, and they just sent out a, hey, we need ring announcers, hosts, etc. So I'm gonna submit an application for that to see if what's going on with that. And if I live in Arizona at the time, I might just drive back out here.
Oh, it'd be worth it. Get that experience.
100%. I mean, honestly, if time and money adds up, I might take you with me, just so you could get the experience. But you were talking about CM Punk, and you said two big words that kind of come full circle to what the topic is. Well, not the topic, but a topic of what's going on today. And you said controversy and AEW. Now, AEW has another star that's going through some controversy, and I don't know if you've heard about it, but that is Mr. Chris Jericho. Yep. Now, I don't necessarily know. Obviously, nothing as of this moment, to my knowledge, is proven, right? And, you know, in the general sense and terms, they say innocent until proven guilty. However, when it comes to things of this nature, the public definitely can make their own opinion. So if you guys don't know, and you've been living underneath a rock, recently the wrestling community has been abuzz with discussions about Chris Jericho, a renowned figure in the industry, and his participation in the upcoming, what was AEW's World's End event. So Chris Jericho was recently found at the wrong side of controversy. sexual allegations have surfaced, hinting at a undisclosed aspect of his personal life. A lot of people are pointing that finger towards Miss Kylie Ray because she escalated the situation when she responded with a red heart emoji to a tweet which many interpreted as confirmation of an allegation involving Jericho and her inside of a hotel room. Now, if this all is true, in your opinion, Mr. Shane, do you think that AEW, knowing what they have done with CM Punk, knowing what they have done in the past with all of the other individuals that may have some issues, Jeff Hardy, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, do you think that they should and or will let Chris Jericho go due to these allegations?
I'm gonna go to another example of controversy in the media to kind of support my answer here. Jonathan Majors from Disney, the Disney side of things, the MCU. I think Disney did a very smart thing when they waited until there was a conviction before taking action. And I think AEW would be smart to do the same thing. If this turns out to be true, and if there are legal issues that stem from what's going on with Chris Jericho, then I feel AEW should absolutely cut ties with the man. There's no justification for sexual harassment or anything like that. And if it does prove to be true, then yes, I think they need to take action. But until there's concrete proof or concrete evidence, I think they're smart for not acting. However, I don't think he needs to be on TV at the same time either.
That's what I was gonna follow up with, because my thing is, let's say, I'm not, hypothetically speaking, I don't know if she signed an NDA. I know people were chanting NDAs and whatnot. I don't know too much information about that. However, if you're guilty by public opinion, right?
Yeah.
A lot of get off TV, yeah. And it's unfortunate that we live in a world to where when it comes to sexual allegations like this, things don't go to court necessarily. A lot of things don't go to court to where you are proven guilty by a judge. A lot of things just surface in social media, and then people make their thought process and their decision based on the evidence that is brought to light in social media. So if that would occur, is that what you mean by guilty, or are you wanting a judge to say like, hey, now this person is guilty, throw him to the wolves?
Not necessarily guilty, but I just think there needs to be proof.
Yeah, I agree. Some type of concrete proof from some alleged source, something that says like, hey, no, this actually happened at this date and time, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I agree with that.
It's so easy for people to point fingers and to say things happen. And again, I am not saying that this didn't happen. I honestly have not done a whole lot of research on it. From what it sounds like, it is happening. But again, like, there's no concrete proof.
Yeah.
So I just feel like until there is, like
100%. And when it comes up to allegations like this, and I'm pretty sure I can speak for Shane on this too. Well, I'm always going to side with the female until something shows me otherwise.
Exactly.
Right. So in this case, or males, it doesn't matter, depending on which avenue it goes. But for this situation, it's Kylie Ray and Chris.
Side of the accuser.
Say again?
Side of the accuser.
Exactly. So it's one of those situations where it's just like, dang, man, this could not have happened at a more crucial time, because literally, I think, I don't know if it was a day before or a week before, he was arguing with Punk's lawyer on Twitter. And they were going back and forth on that. And I feel really bad for MJF, because this is the second time that man has main evented something where, well, technically third if you want to count Wardlow, but this is like the second time where he's in a main event angle and he is the AEW World Champion. And no one is really talking about the match. The first time it was with Punk, and now it's with Jericho. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I feel even worse for Samoa Joe. Again,
That
listeners,
part.
I'm gonna go on tangents. I think forewarned. I feel even worse for Samoa Joe. Like he finally wins a world championship a decade later, and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah. It's rather everybody's talking about
Nobody.
Adam Cole being the devil or this whole crap with
Jericho.
Chris Jericho. Like I haven't even really because I'm a part of the IWC, the Internet Wrestling community, and I don't see a lot of people talking about Joe. And that's unfortunate because really and truly, the man hasn't held a world title since TNA.
What? Oh, we said like 2008, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Now, granted, he had the NXT one for a little bit in NXT, but that he got that taken away from him quicker than I changed socks due to the injuries. So I don't really count that.
Yeah. Does NXT count as a world championship?
And I now it does because they're on their own platform and have their own network now. So I guess because they're not quote unquote developmental anymore, that they're their own brand. Granted, me and you, we think of NXT, it's always going to be developmental no matter what. And I think
Yeah.
that the IWC agrees with that too, is because like I love NXT, but no one's watching NXT the way we are watching Raw and SmackDown. Now, granted, as of late, people should really pay attention to NXT because NXT has been on fire as of late. And the things that Carmella Hayes and Trick Williams and even the females down there that are doing, the women that are down there doing their things, like a lot of great stuff is happening on NXT. But is it a world to you and me? No. But in the world, I guess technically, I don't know if anyone else would call the NXT championship a world title, but that's neither here or there. But
It's
I
just such an
digress.
interesting thought process because if you do count that, then Samoa Joe would have been a three-time world champion in WWE.
That is
One of the
true.
top times. And then Finn Balor would be a three-time world champion in WWE.
That's true because yeah, that is true. So maybe not. Maybe not. Now I know we were talking about returns, and not only did we get The Rock returning in December with Pat McAfee, but we also got the return of one of my favorite tag teams, and that is DIY. Now, granted, DIY being on the main roster now in 2024, I'm about to say three, I'm happy. Granted, they need more TV time and they need a little bit more fire to them, but I think that if Triple H keeps on pushing the way he's pushing, I think it would be fun and fine. I think that with the tag team division as a whole, I think that they're doing great things. I think that they're developing into being more of a tag team division, especially on the women's side. I don't know if you've noticed recently, but granted, the women's tag team titles as of right now are kind of a joke. However, as of lately, it seems to be that there are women's tag teams popping up left and right, like Chelsea Green and Piper. You got when Sonya Deville does come back, I want to see how that's going to work. But you got Tegan Knox and Natalia. You got they changed their name so much. What is it? Christian Carter-Zarno and
Katana Chance and Caden.
Thank you, Caden Carter. Yeah, they don't change their names like 800 times. You got Io Sky and Damage Control. You got the
Warriors
thank
could be a
you.
thing again.
Yeah, and I think that they are. I don't know. Have you heard them announce them as the Kabuki Warriors?
No, because I think they're under the Damage Control umbrella.
Yeah, I agree with that. So yeah, but we do have the Kabuki Warriors. Rumor has it that now, speaking of the women, let me backtrack a little bit. The NXT, and this is my opinion. Right? They're focusing so much on the tag teams right now. Triple H is focusing very hard on tag team wrestling for the women because they want the women's tag team championships to mean something. Side note, I think that the women's tag team championship belt is one of the most beautiful belts WWE has.
It's a nice looking belt.
It's a beautiful belt. It's a belt that I would buy. Granted, I'm not a woman, but I am a champion.
You are a tag.
Yes, and you are a tag team champion.
I am the tag team champion.
But the tag team, this is just my theory. Triple H has gotten creative control. Best thing that ever happened at WWE, right? Now he's focusing on tag team wrestling for the women. The women are now getting more TV time for tag team wrestling. Let's take a step into the time capsule, shall we? We go and think about tag team wrestling, and we think about the women that have held that tag team championship, right? So many different ones, but let's go back in time. You think of Miss Mercedes, formerly known as Sasha Banks, and Bailey, right? You think of Naomi and Sasha Banks.
The Iconics are so many.
The Iconics, yes. The reason why I say this is because Mercedes is a free agent. TNA is now being owned by Endeavor.
Is that true?
I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've been seeing on the IWC. So we're going to learn that this week, if that's, or at least this month, if that's actually a fact or not.
I did see them start mentioning premium live events instead of pay-per-views, so that kind of like made my ears stand.
Exactly. And with that said, I'm like, oh, and I saw a report from Sean Ross Sapp, shout out to Sean, that, and his information is usually accurate 90% of the time. I saw a little report that Miss Naomi, yeah, she might be on her way back. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, if Naomi is on her way back, you guys are pushing these tag team belts because Sasha and Naomi presumably left because they were tired of you guys not treating the tag team championships like they were worth it. They're tired out with their time. They're overall frustrated with the booking. We don't literally know why they left, but that would be my assumption. So my thing is, like, I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh, so you're painting this picture that you're giving more time to the tag team. So you're sitting there like, look over here. Look, Sasha, look, Naomi, we care about the tag team championships. Again, we care about tag team wrestlings for women. Come look, we're doing the things that you asked us just to get them to come back. Am I crazy to think that?
No, it's funny that you mentioned that because just this morning I was kind of like fantasy booking, you know how you go when you're in your head, and I was like, how cool would it be for that to be a WrestleMania moment, you know, circa the Hardys a few years ago when they came back and won the tag titles. I would love for Naomi and Sasha Banks to come back and win the tag titles at Mania.
Now, I like that idea, but my conscience immediately goes, I would be so frustrated. Now, obviously, you're not talking about a main event, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I would be so
like a pay-per-view opener. Or, I'm sorry, PLE opener.
I okay. No, that I would do. I don't know about with the Papa Mercedes. Now, granted, she was only Mercedes Moné for a couple of seconds.
Sasha Banks. She'll always be Sasha Banks.
Man, but I kind of hope that like she creates a persona because she owns that name.
Mercedes Moné?
She owns both names.
Oh, does she really?
I'm pretty sure. I'm almost positive that she owns both of those names.
I don't know that.
Well, granted, let me rewind. I don't think she owns Sasha Banks. And I think that's why I don't know. I know she owns Mercedes Moné because that's the name that she chose for herself.
Yeah.
So I know that she owns that one. Yeah, I don't think she owns Sasha Banks, so I could be wrong about that. And the reason why I say that is I'm like, did you leave and purposely change your name, or did you not want to take your name elsewhere because you wanted to change? Because I know that a lot of autograph signings and stuff like that, she was still signing. She signed both names on a lot of people's like cards or books or whatever you have it. So you had Sasha
Even
Banks and Mercedes
Matt
Monet.
Cardona still signs Zack Ryder on things.
That's
So,
true.
yeah.
But that's what I think for that. That's truly what I think they're doing with the tag team division. And once again, I do kind of agree with that. I think that it would be really cool to see Sasha Banks once again in a WWE ring. And my personal opinion, right now, she is needed more than ever.
I would be interested to see how Sasha flourishes under a Triple H creative control versus a Vince McMahon control.
I would be too.
I did not watch NXT religiously when Triple H was in control. I caught every takeover event that they did. I would always watch every takeover, but the week to week, didn't watch it. And honestly, Sasha Banks has been. This might be a controversial take, but in my opinion, she was very underwhelming on her main roster stint with Vince in control. So I would love to see her back under Triple H to see what she can really do, how she can really cook. Because I think he has a proven track record of making women's wrestling matter.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair, Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch has been on fire. That Trish Stratus was looking fantastic this year. I just Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. He could do more Shayna Baszler, but that's a different topic for a different day. But yeah, he's just proven track record on things.
Speaking of the women, can we talk about how it's complete bullshit that Liv Morgan got locked up for weed?
I laughed so hard.
I was like, what? That's crazy. And I'm as of right now, I'm kind of scrolling through WWE.com and looking through their superstar page just to see all of the women talent that we have. And you know what? Wow, Vacant is actually on the superstars list. That is hilarious. Yeah. Look at this. This is hilarious. Vacant is just sitting right there.
Above Valhalla.
I want right above Valhalla. I clicked on it and it gave me it gave me the Universal Championship. But one thing I did find really surprising, since we were talking about the women, and I wanted you to see this, is I was very shocked to see that this woman is still listed as a superstar on WWE.com, and that woman is the former CEO, Miss Stephanie McMahon.
Oh, that's interesting because she's
not even a part of the company anymore.
I was gonna say she doesn't even have. Who the hell is TV Turner?
NXT.
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't recognize
NXT.
That woman at all. That's very interesting because she doesn't even have a talent contract, does she?
Not to my knowledge, and not especially not as a superstar, because she hasn't been a superstar in ages.
Is Shane there?
No, Shane is not here, which is.
Yeah, he is. He's right there.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Right
oh, wow, he is.
Oh.
Well, maybe Shane has to be there because they're still, paying for both of his knees from busting out last WrestleMania.
Is Vince there?
That would be.
Or is he under Mr. McMahon?
He might be under Mr. McMahon. Let's see. I just found it really interesting that Stephanie was there.
Yeah, I mean, that's very interesting. Nicole.
Yeah, Mr. McMahon.
Huh.
Interesting. Maybe this is everyone that's affiliated with the company, but it's just like past and present. Like, I feel like if I go to WWE.com for superstars, I'm going to think, especially if I don't know anything about wrestling, I'm going to think that even Beth is here. I'm going to think that all of these people are active and or a part of the company in some way, some shape and form, because they even have background announcers and backstage people on here as well.
I'm looking with you. I'm looking at AJ Styles, Adam Pearce,
yeah.
The Witches. Hey, where have they been?
Oh, that part. I'm glad that Alba Fire and her I can't remember her name. Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. Thank you. I'm glad that they're back. They're back as well as far as the tag team division goes. But no, I definitely found that interesting. Wow, Booker. Well, he does do the. Yeah, he does do NXT. For a second, my I was reading Booker T, but my brain was saying Mark Henry. I'm like, wrong black guy. I'm like, that's AEW, you silly goof.
You're black, you're allowed to say that.
Yeah, right. But let's get into it. Let's get into the biggest return that I've kind of been avoiding, and that is The Rock.
Oh my gosh.
The Rock came back on SmackDown. This time it was kind of spoiled in advance due to a picture that was tweeted out with Nick Khan in the background.
Talking about this return on Raw last week or this week?
Correct.
Was that just 3 days ago?
Yep. Feels like a week ago, don't it?
Remember when I said we're getting old at the beginning of this thing? Like,
sure are. But The Rock.
I'm so excited.
Rock.
I'm so excited.
I am thrilled. This man said, I'm going to come out here, whoop your Punjabi butt. Also, I'm going to go get a drink, not at the bar, not at the counter, but at the head of the table. Now, before we get into it, right?
Yes.
I want to start off with the bad things. The bad things is, I understand it's 2024 and there's not a lot of context and or content that he can roll with. However, The Rock is getting just amateur, elementary on the microphone.
It's the same shtick every time. I will admit it.
You are an asshole is what he used the last time we saw him at, and now it's day one. You are a douchebag. And I really think the only reason why he changed it was so that the network's executives wouldn't blink it out like they did back in December. Because for the live feed back in December, they had to, they muted out every single time they said an asshole, which was terrible for TV. But The Rock is back. And
The Rock can do the same thing 365 days a year and it'll still be great.
I'm not saying it wasn't great. I just don't want the same thing back to back to back.
It's always been the same thing back to back to back if you think about it.
Well, in a sense, yes, but like when I think of The Rock's mic skills, right? I'm going all the way back to Attitude Era, where he can walk down, twist it sideways, and stick this thing straight up your candy ass, right? Yeah. I'm thinking of, I'm gonna go over there, drive you down, lock it up, and check you into the SmackDown hotel, right? I think of the incredible mic moments that he had with John Cena. Like, and granted, once again, that's why I said, like, he probably didn't have a lot of content to deal with because a lot of these guys he doesn't interact with, so he can't get personable with them. He can't make something sound good when he has nothing to work on or with or for. But
I can see your argument, yeah.
But this is my time where I'm like, all right, The Rock being back. I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He is one of my favorite musical artists. I can technically say that now. Moana. He's also one of my favorite movie actors, and he's on my Kenny Brown's Mount Rushmore, right? He's one of the faces, head over heels. However, Shane and I have talked about this in the past about how, and granted, this kind of goes into The Rock, but at the same time, it all depends on when it's going to happen. And I'll ask that question to you in a little bit. But me and Shane in the past have definitely talked about how we have been tired, and they did this very heavy. I think it was last year, maybe 2022, where we had a shit ton of legends just return out of nowhere and take spots from other people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh great, it's happening again. And this time I go, yeah, this is exciting because the people want to see it. And I understand it because you guys want to make it happen before The Rock can't take too many bumps, or before the people get too disinterested, because you guys have had failed things that people have wanted to see before. Number one example, Undertaker and Sting. You could have done it at that WrestleMania. You guys chose to do Sting and Triple H, and it was terrible. Another thing, Becky versus Ronda Rousey one-on-one, but Charlotte wanted to cash in her Charlotte in the Bank and make it a triple threat match. Okay, whatever, right? You've had a lot of moments that were like, oh, we could have striked while the pan was hot and we chose not to. So now you're kind of doing it, and I'm not mad at you. However, is it necessary? I don't think so, because I'm sitting here and I'm like, we already have a road to WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes. Yes, a crossroads to WrestleMania with Cody Rhodes. So why is The Rock here? For what? Just to get beat? Because he's not going to win against Roman. 100%. No matter when or it happens, he's not going to beat Roman Reigns. We know that. Unless this match happens after WrestleMania. But let's be honest, this is The Rock we're talking about. It's not happening after WrestleMania. So, with that said, Shane, when do you think this match is happening?
There's rumors that it could be happening at Elimination Chamber in February, which would be interesting. However, I don't see The Rock coming back to face Roman Reigns at any other point in time other than night 2 WrestleMania main event.
Wow. So I know I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but we have to talk about it. We'll give our predictions and we'll kind of backtrack on this a little bit later. But out of curiosity, who's your pick for the Rumble?
If I was to pick right now, gun to my head, I would say CM Punk is winning the men's Rumble and Bayley is winning the women's Rumble. Those would be my two.
So picks. CM Punk goes to WrestleMania to face Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. When?
Night 1 main event.
And what do you do with Cody?
I don't know. We all know. Last year, you and I, we were basically live texting the whole time WrestleMania was on. I wanted Roman Reigns to win so badly last year.
And I wanted Cody to win.
Yes, and I was so happy when Roman won, just because I feel like I was 1 out of 100 that picked that booking decision. It was the wrong decision. It was the wrong decision. Roman Reigns should have lost to Cody Rhodes last year. Is the iron still hot enough on Cody Rhodes to have him beat Roman Reigns this year? I don't know. I don't feel like Cody doesn't feel like Cody Rhodes this year to me. You know? And there's a lot that can happen between now and the first weekend in April, but I don't know what I would do with Cody Rhodes right now.
So that's where me and Shane kind of disagree. I think Cody Rhodes is still very hot. Granted, what they're doing with him and pairing him with Shinsuke Nakamura is just wasting time, giving him something to do until the Rumble, right?
Maybe that's where I don't feel like he's been as hot. It's because I feel like this whole year has just been waiting.
That's exactly. I 1,000,000% agree.
Yeah,
I agree, and it's because I think WWE realized we fucked up. It should have. Now, granted, Triple H and his long-term storytelling, 10 out of 10. I absolutely love it. However, there are times where it's like, now the bloodline, this is getting way too long. We are over it. This should have ended a minute ago. We're done.
SummerSlam was the nail in the coffin.
Exactly. For me too. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, what is happening? So for me, this is how I feel. I think that Cody Rhodes should. This is my, and this has happened in the past, and this is just my idea. And let me know if you like it or not. Do you think that this could happen? Now, it could happen, but this is my theory. You have The Rock and Roman Reigns face each other at the Elimination Chamber. One on one. Keep in mind, Cody is still on Raw. So you're trying to figure out how the hell does Cody even get to SmackDown to face Roman Reigns?
The brand split doesn't matter.
The brand split does not matter. However, I'm going to take into account that it does. Okay? Yep. I say we have a cross-branded Elimination Chamber match.
Okay.
And I say you put 6 people in there. All 6 of those people are people that have been wronged by Roman Reigns. So you have
finish the story Elimination Chamber match.
Kind of, pretty much. So you have Cody Rhodes, you'll have LA Knight, you have Sami Zayn, AJ Styles. You'll have Wait, we don't have a pay-per-view before Elimination Chamber, do we?
Royal Rumble.
Oh, we have the Rumble. So at Elimination Chamber. So yes. Oh, even better, because the 5th person can be Randy Orton, because you know he's going to get screwed in the Rumble match. Yep. And then the 6th person is Cody.
Did we already say Cody?
Maybe. Oh, hold on. Cody. Jey Uso. Jey Uso is the 6th. Sorry. So yeah, you'll have Cody, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn. You'll have Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight.
Yep. And that is a tantalizing.
You have enough, and granted, you have a lot of baby faces in that, and I understand that.
You should though.
Huh?
You should. They should all be baby faces.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily know who you want to cheer for, but at the end of the day, it's just like, this is how you can finish the story. You have Cody Rhodes go in there. You can tell a story about how he starts off at number 1, and he faces directly across from Jey Uso, the guy that he got put onto Raw or helped out, however you want to label it, and you tell the story of Cody having to not only defeat Jey Uso, but all of his friends and Randy Orton and AJ Styles and Sami Zayn, et cetera, and LA Knight, right? All these people that he's teamed up with over the last couple of months. And you have him go fight all those 5 people and win the Elimination Chamber match and go on to face Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Because I also do agree that CM Punk is winning the Royal Rumble. But I will say this. I do think CM Punk is winning the Royal Rumble. However, if CM Punk did not come back, that spot, in my humble, honest opinion, would have went to Gunther.
You think so?
I do. I don't think they would have had Cody Rhodes win it back-to-back years. They could have, but my pick initially before CM Punk came was Gunther. I was going to have him do the same type of thing. I was going to have him go into Rumble, lose against Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship, have him drop it at the Rumble, and have him reappear inside of the Royal Rumble itself to then go on and beat. I was going to have him face Seth Rollins of night 2 at WrestleMania.
Interesting.
And win. And then beat Seth Rollins at WrestleMania and win. And then for females, if it's not Bayley, it's Becky.
I can see Becky.
But I will say this. If Naomi does come back before the Rumble or even at the Rumble, my pick changes to her automatically.
You think Naomi would win a Rumble?
I think she's definitely earned it. I think if I was Naomi, I would, and I'm coming back, that would be like in my contract. I'm like, I'm not coming back to lose. I'm not coming back to do the same thing that I left doing. I'm coming back with a different mindset. Granted, we could still be feeling the glow, but in TNA right now, she's a champion. Why come back to WWE to do the same thing?
No, you're right. I can see that.
And
I can see her wanting to be a champion.
And honestly, I'm not even going to lie to you. I know it's not a size difference or anything like that, but Naomi versus Rhea Ripley would be a banger.
Oh, for sure.
Naomi, I think that would be a phenomenal match. And to my knowledge, it's not something we've seen before.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think they wrestled in NXT, and I don't think they wrestled while Rhea was a tag team. Maybe once or twice, but to my knowledge, I don't recall. And obviously, if Mercedes comes back as Sasha Banks, then head over heels. However, I could see this happening. I could see this happening and it being a match at WrestleMania, a singles match. I could see this happening. I could see Sasha Banks returning. Huge pop during the Rumble match. You know who she gets eliminated by, setting them up for a match at WrestleMania?
Naomi?
Jade Cargill.
That'd be a good one. See, Jade Cargill's another one to talk about.
No one's talking about Jade because her mother recently just passed away from cancer.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, her mother passed away from cancer, so she's been non-existent in the wrestling world as of late. I think it happened in December, like right before the holidays. So
ever a good time, but that's just horrible.
Exactly. So Triple H was pretty much like, you go take your time and you let us know when you're ready. And I know that he has said in the post interviews, Scrub, thank you, in the post Scrub, pretty much saying she's not ready yet, but when she is, we'll let you guys know.
The point I wanted to bring up was the WWE roster right now is
stacked.
There are so many possibilities for so many different things that we could sit here and fantasy book all day.
I do think, regardless or not, if outside of fantasy booking, and granted, this is me fantasy booking still, but I do expect, if not setting up for anything, I do expect to see Jade in the Rumble.
Oh, for sure. I would think that would be a great start for her.
I think seeing her in the Rumble, you could build her up like Kane, have her get a ton of eliminations, and then get thrown out by like a Becky, a Rhea, a Naomi, or a Bayley, whoever, someone of top tier talent, and call it a day. Or even by multiple women and call it a day.
Yeah.
I think
give her the Nia Jax spot.
Exactly. And seeing her just overhead press slam a lot of these women would be great, because the woman is a genetic freak and I love every single bit about it. I also wanted to touch on, I know I just mentioned her name, but Nia Jax.
I'm impressed.
Thank you. I was about to say unpopular opinion, and I know we love to hate on Nia Jax, but yo, ever since she came back, this is a completely different Nia Jax.
You could almost see the maturity in her in-ring work.
Like,
if that makes any sense. She's here to do business.
Dude, ever since she's been back, she's had good matches. And the match that she just had with Becky is, my opinion, one of the best matches I have ever seen Nia Jax put on.
If not the best.
And I'm glad that she went over. And I didn't know that was her hometown until I read this little article that I'm reading right now.
Yeah, San Diego, huh?
Yeah, that was her hometown. And what do you know? WWE putting over somebody in their hometown. You don't see that often.
Thanks, Triple H.
Right? I'm very impressed with Nia Jax's work. I know we love to hate on Nia, but this recent run, it's been great, dude.
Again, like the WWE roster is stacked. I have enjoyed Nia Jax, and I never thought I'd say that.
Both of us, like when she first got here to NXT, okay, cool.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's crazy. But the women are stacked. The men's roster is stacked. You got AJ Styles and Randy Orton looking completely jacked out of their minds.
Daddy Orton.
And Daddy Styles, because like AJ Styles looks like he ate the former AJ that was in Impact.
And they're in their 40s, dude. What the heck?
Look, I need to get their regimen and be like that when I turn 40 because it's something that I desperately need.
You and me both, brother.
Dude, and now we have SmackDown this week. So we don't know what's going to be happening on SmackDown as of yet. I assume something with the Judgment Day.
They're on Raw though, so maybe not.
But they're the tag team champions, so they float.
Good point.
SmackDown is Thursday night SmackDown?
No, Friday.
Yeah, okay, that's what I said. I was like, hello? I was like, what?
Is there gonna be the triple threat tonight, or is that coming up later? The LA AJ and Orton, is that coming up?
I think so. I'm gonna get the preview for.
Or is that just me fantasy booking again?
No, I think that's happening because that dictates who fights at the Rumble. Yeah,
I think so. But you know how it is when we're online and we read so many different things. It's hard to separate.
Correct. So no, you're absolutely correct. So Roman Reigns returns live to SmackDown for a New Year's Revolution. That's what the show is going to be called. That's what they're tagging it as. New Year's Revolution, which used to be a pay-per-view, yeah?
Yeah, Edge's first cash-in, Money in the Bank cash-in happened there.
Yes, it did. Yeah, and you're absolutely correct. AJ Styles, Randy Orton, and LA Knight collide for a triple threat match, and that's going to dictate who is going to challenge Roman at the Rumble. With that said, who do you have fighting Roman at the Rumble?
Randy.
Really?
Yep, 100%.
Why not AJ?
AJ versus LA Knight.
Okay, I'll give you that.
I don't know if AJ officially turned heel
but it's coming.
It was justified in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Took my spot. I'm gonna take your spot. But I don't know if he officially turned heel, but I feel like an official heel turn's coming. And I think AJ versus LA Knight would be a good showcase. I don't know if it's gonna happen at the Rumble, but it'll happen.
100%. We also have Kanto. We also have Kevin Owens battling Santos Escobar in the United States Championship Tournament Final. This is going to
be interesting.
Be very interesting because this is going to allow us to figure out who's going to go face Logan Paul for the United States Championship, and Logan Paul is actually going to be on the show. You have
Owens is going to win because I don't think they'll put a heel Santos against a heel Logan Paul.
No, and I definitely think it's going to be Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul at the Rumble, and I got money on Kevin, but we'll get to a Rumble prediction later. Michin, also known as
what is her name? Is it Mia Yim?
Mia Yim, yeah. Also known as Mia Yim. I don't know why they don't just call her Mia Yim. I don't know why they don't just let her have her name.
Did they officially change her name to Michin?
They changed her name to Michin, but everyone calls her Mia Yim. So it's just like, because I'm reading it right here and it says Michin to challenge, but I'm like, why change it to Michin? Just call her Mia Yim.
Yeah, okay.
Like there's no differences between those two characters. They're literally the same identical person. But anyway, Mia Yim. Oh wow, I did not know this. WWE Women's Title match: Mia Yim versus Io Sky. That's kind of awesome because Mia Yim works her ass off.
Oh, I didn't know that was happening either.
That is happening, and she's gonna lose. However, I think it's gonna be a good match because Mia Yim is honestly a really good wrestler. She just doesn't give enough. She's not given enough TV time for people to know. But she's really good. Another side note, another person who's really good that doesn't get enough TV time because she's on a less favorable brand right now is Athena, also known as Ember Moon.
ROH. You can talk all you want about ROH. I have no idea what's going on.
Dude, take a second and just YouTube some stuff about ROH. I implore that to everyone. Granted, I don't watch ROH weekly, but I make my rounds of like, oh, what's happened recently in ROH. And let's just say Miss Ember Moon, Miss Athena, she can get down. And then, yeah, it's been, granted, the crowds are dead or whatever because there's like barely anyone there, unfortunately. But we'll get into another AEW thing later. But lastly, on SmackDown to preview, it says Butch must find a partner to take on Pretty Deadly.
Sheamus.
I've been thinking that too. However, you know who I also have a feeling that it might be? I think it might be a call up. I think if it's not,
he did spend some time in NXT.
Yeah, well, you know this person as well. One, I need Butch to go back to Pete Dunne.
For sure. I was just gonna say that for sure.
Secondly, if it's not Sheamus,
Tyler Bate.
Tyler Bate, exactly.
Let's do that one.
Yeah, if it's not Sheamus, give me Tyler Bate.
Save Sheamus for the Rumble return. Do Tyler Bate. That makes so much more sense.
And if it is Tyler Bate, get rid of Butch and give me freaking Pete Dunne.
Right.
It only makes sense. Triple H, give the people what they want.
He dropped Dewdrop and gave Piper Niven back her name. Why can't you freaking drop Butch?
And Butch is so bad.
Been bad.
Not bad wrestler, just a bad name. Just want to clarify.
Yeah, it's been 2 years now already, right?
Yeah, which is wild in itself. Like that's crazy.
Because we're coming up on the second WrestleMania season. Unfortunately, Big E got injured.
Yeah,
and it was Butch way before that. So it's been.
Also, speaking of injuries, I'm not going to lie to you. When they said a returning WWE superstar was coming back to Monday Night Raw, there's a part of me that was really hoping that it was Big E.
Yeah.
I was like, please.
I wonder if Big E is coming back on NXT.
I don't care if he comes back to NXT, but I'm letting you know right now because I'm going to do a live stream and a live party, a watch party for the Rumble and every other PLE from this point forward. So if you ever want to come on the live stream and we can do one of these, we can do that together and watch together with the chat or whatever. We can set that up. However, I will say this, Shane, I'm going to scream so loud if that man comes out at the Rumble. You know what?
Have you been following NXT recently?
Yeah, I have.
His NXT gimmick right now, Ridge Holland, is about injuring people.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's close to home. You know, like that one too soon, question mark.
Yeah. And he's back in the gym too. Like he's been working out and stuff. So I'm just like, Big Eve, you're working out to come back. Even if it's just for one spot, I will be head over heels. Like I would be crying in the club.
It just sucks that it's like, it just feels like NXT probably consistently has been the best booked show of the year.
Oh, absolutely.
If we're being honest, it just like this program, a Big E return to go after Ridge Holland that feels way too big for NXT.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I'm kind of thinking like, maybe I'm just getting my hopes up, which I probably am.
We all are. All of us internet wrestling people are, you know?
But it feels, that storyline is so perfect for a Big E return. I want it to happen. I need it to happen.
We all do, man. We all do, because it is definitely something that we are itching for. I'm very excited for a Big E return. If it does happen this year, then awesome. Obviously that that injury is very serious that he got. So it's not something to be played with.
It's been almost 2 years.
Yeah, but do you remember how long Edge was gone for a while?
Oh, with the neck injury, you can be gone. You can never return.
Yeah. And even with Stone Cold, he's even said this too. Because if you get a broken neck in the ring, I automatically assume you're Stone Cold's friend.
Yeah.
But I obviously like you're going to have to change how you wrestle.
100%.
And you're going to have to learn, maybe you might have to learn a new move set, because that big ending, I'm like, you land on your back when you're dropping them down. Are you going to have to change that so that way you don't land on your back? And also, one big thing that he 1,000,000% needs to get rid of is that spear through the ropes.
100%. 100%.
That thing has always looked and have, like, I don't know if it is dangerous, but it's always looked painful. It's always looked dangerous. And I'm like, Big E, that needs to go. Especially if you come back, I can't have you all of 300 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
And thank God he's that big, because if he wasn't that big, that neck injury probably would have paralyzed him.
100%.
Like, so thank God he's that big. So like, the bigger you are, the stronger they fall is what they say though. So be careful.
But yeah. Hoping for a Big E return. I forgot what we were talking about before we went off on that tangent, but yes.
No, it's all good. It's all good. So those are pretty much synopsis of what's going on for SmackDown. Hopefully Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne will return and get this stuff done. That's been an hour, everyone. We're going to wrap it up there. We will be back sometime next week when we have time to talk about Raw and SmackDown, NXT, and hopefully no more alleged news for Chris Jericho. We might have some updates then, but I just wanted to take the time to not only thank everyone for listening, but thanks to Shane for being my partner in crime in this little podcast right here.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop. All right. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, SK, let me stop. Shane and K, let me stop. I'm trying to make up names, but no, KWC, we are the tag team champions. We love you, and thank you so much for listening. We will see you guys next week. Take care.